And welcome to another live stream with me, Christian Rauchenwald, and with that to another episode of Daily Market Mastery. As always, before we jump into the markets into my portfolio, let's get the usual disclaimer out of the way first. Everything that I share in this live stream / video is my personal opinion and in no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions, and make your own decisions. So it's also in short form mentioned down here at the bottom of the screen. And last but not least, as always, the reminder for everything tuning in for the first time, all the tools that I'm using. So why is that not working? Interesting. All the tools that I'm using, so the broker, the charting software, and whatnot is linked in the description down below. And the one thing I recommend you check out is the Elliott Wave principle that you can read for free down below if you follow the link online or get yourself a physical copy. Now with that, we'll jump onto the screen. And we're going to check why that overlay isn't working. So just a second. That's so weird. Okay, now it is weird. Screen share, there we are. Okay, so as you can see, there are a few alerts. So major indexes, large price change, blah, blah, blah. Markets moved a lot. I'm a little bit frustrated because literally a couple months ago, I told a friend of mine that I expect the Nasdaq, so when it was still trading around 18,000, that I see a pattern for the Nasdaq to go to 20 to 22,000, and then from there start a big correction. And at the end of the day, that's exactly what happened. And not just in the Nasdaq, we see red across the bar. The reason for that, in case you're wondering, we can hide that for now, I guess, is, in my opinion, or from what I read and discovered, the Japanese yen. So the Japanese bank or national bank or central bank, however it's called, increased their interest rate. And as a result, people used to, we don't have a chart here, but I'm going to fire one up, USD. So people used to, do we have a chart here? Yeah. People used to borrow money in yen, so the interest rate was low, and basically they borrowed in yen, converted it to US dollars, so that they can then, for example, use the US dollars to buy something or invest in things and so on. Yeah, and now with the increase in interest rate, the yen increased in value compared to the US dollar. Which means if you borrowed yen, you suddenly owe more money. Yeah, so the US dollars that you have give you less yen that you actually need. Plus, the increased interest rate also leads to the point that you have to pay more every month back on whatever money you borrowed. And so people are partially forced to sell certain assets. We saw the dump in stocks, in gold futures a little bit, not as extreme, in cryptocurrencies and so on, so across the market or markets. And as a result, then those people, so they sold off, for example, let's say they borrowed $100,000 in yen and then bought Nvidia with that because or maybe a stock that pays some dividends because the interest rate that they used to pay on their yen loan was lower than what they made from their investment. Now, suddenly the loans become more expensive, and so they are forced to, in quotes, liquidate part of their Nvidia position, or whatever else they put that money in, to basically make sure that they can cover their obligations, which then drives up, in that case, it drives down the US dollar compared to the yen, so the yen increased in value, so there the graph is the exact opposite, and as a result, what the money they owe is also more, and they now have to buy yen. So basically, they have to buy back yen so that they have yen to serve their loans. Yeah, and as a result, it increases the demand for yen, which just serves to further increase or strengthen the yen compared to the US dollar, which makes that line here happening. Which again, then with every bit the yen increases compared to the US dollar, your debt also suddenly increases because again, you didn't keep you borrowed yen, but you didn't keep it. You converted it to US dollars. So you got 100,000 US dollars for whatever amount of yen that was. Yeah. But now the 100,000 US dollars don't cover that amount anymore because the yen increased in value already by, let's say, 10%. Yeah. So you already short $10,000. So based on that alone. So you want to drive down your risk, for example, or your monthly costs to cover the loan or whatever. So you sell or you use some of your US dollars to buy yen back, which again just helps drive up the exchange rate for yen to US dollars further, which just makes the whole thing worse for you. And voila, you see people, not people, I mean, probably some individuals, but most likely bigger institutions forced to liquidate assets across the board. We can see that on my watch list. Literally everything is red that's updated. Yeah. Yeah, it pisses me off. So Nvidia is kind of fine. I mentioned there might still be the drop down to the $94 mark. Yeah, that would be that extension here. Now, however, we have to consider that this is actually not an ABC correction, but that this is the start of a bigger downwards trend. Yeah. So we'll see, and in case of NVIDIA, we'll see if we will cover from here. I don't think it will happen. We might see a small bounce, but I think actually what's happening is the following. For that, we zoom out on the daily chart. Again, I was wrong the last week because I assumed that we have ABC and we might have already the next wave up now. Have to admit that as well, that there definitely didn't see the signs. However, I pointed out it's possible as a wave C that we still get a push down into the 95 area where we are now. But considering what's happening now, I think it's more likely that we're looking at the following. So let's get rid of that stuff. In terms of Elliott Wave Theory, that we're looking at wave 1, wave 2, and now wave 3 in progress, 4, 5, and that will then just be wave A of a correction. And we can use our usual tools here. And we'll see that for the wave 5, for the wave 3 territory, I would actually already expect that we reach down to 72, and we recover a little bit for wave 4, so like this, and then we get our wave 5 push, and that will just be wave 8, and we get our recovery, maybe up to 100 again, depending on where wave 4 terminates, and then we get our wave C. Yeah? Now, the same, have to look real quick, NASDAQ futures symbol at IBKR because we don't have it on the chart. Symbol guide, yeah. NASDAQ. CME, but CME would not show the futures, so. Wait, what? Not. There is no symbol for that, never mind. So that would be the E-mini. That should be maybe as futures. God, do you show up somewhere or not? So that doesn't help. Index, future, we tried that. Okay, no result. NASDAQ. Wasn't it MNQ? Yeah. Okay, that's the mini. So in NMQ, was it there? NQM. Okay, then let's go with the mini one. That works as well. So here we pretty much, yeah, probably go on a monthly chart. Let's see how much data we get. Or don't get. Boom, boom, boom. So it's still loading, yeah. Patience is a virtue. God. Still working, okay. Still loading. God, will that load eventually? Let's try it like this. Stopping. Yeah, in case you're wondering, I'm doing something on the side on my other PC, so okay, it seems like it doesn't want to load, so yeah. That's that. Okay. yeah, let's restart motive wave real quick. Maybe that solves the issue for us here. Dun, dun, dun. So daily, come on. Okay, that also won't load. So 4 hours, God, is that annoying. Okay, then we look at a few other things. So let's start with GameStop. So that we don't have to zoom out a little bit. So we covered it last week already. I actually was already in quotes like bullish short term for the upwards movement or potential upwards movement that was potentially going to happen already now. And however, we also see a decline here, although we covered already a lot of that. Now, in terms of that decline, we'll have to see, did we go lower than here, 70.70, and here we have 70.56, yes, which turns or which finally answers a question that we've been asking. And that is like, if this here is the top of an impulse wave or if that here is the finish. Now, since we went a little bit lower here, this has to be the impulse wave, and this is going to be our wave A, B, and C. Although I'm having a really hard time seeing how this here subdivides into a corrective pattern. I covered that in previous episodes, so yeah, which means we can add an expansion here up like this to get our wave C targets. As we can see, they look like this. And additionally, we can add a retracement here to get our potential turnaround points. And we can see the overlap roughly at the yeah, let's keep this one here and the other one we drag a little further. We can see the overlap roughly in the $15 area. So I expect that we get our 1, 2. This is now wave 3 potentially down. We get then a wave 4 and then we get wave 5 to push here to finish that corrective pattern before we go up. That's here. Now, if we try to, yeah, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so pretty much that might subdivide now like this, so that this here is our wave 1, and as said, we're currently in our wave 2, and we're currently in wave 3, and that wave 3 again we see here also the areas of, if we zoom out again onto a daily chart, we see also the areas of, yeah, so we have 3 forecasts that point in the same direction here, so the area of 15 or 1493 to 1629. Although that would be our wave 3 target, then we get the bounce, and then we get the wave 5. So I think that a little bit below that line might be possible. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So as for GameStop, that would be, in my opinion, the accurate pattern right now. So we have 5 waves up here. We have then our wave A, wave B. Do we have another option here? So no, because if that would be wave. Oh yeah, no, the other option, no, not true. Yeah, so like one option is our wave 1 finishes here. So the question is still not answered. And we have here A, B, C. However, there I have a problem with labeling this as wave B, so with a corrective pattern, because it looks like 5 waves. However, if we still consider the possibility that that is actually the orthodox end of our, now I remove the auto labeling, there we go. Oh, I didn't, never mind. No auto labeling, just get all that big wave pattern was still relevant. So, so yeah, so we still have the option that this is actually our wave 1, which means then we are correcting this right now. And then this would be our wave A, our wave B, and now we are in our wave C, which means then that would add the possibility of, what's the low point here, this one? Yeah, so that's even a tighter spread. So it points, as we can see, pretty much at the $15 mark as a target area for that wave C. And I think that's what we're gonna like aim for, or not aim for, but like I think that's what's gonna be on the table. Might be wrong. I mean, as we know, I'm not always right, but that's what I would expect based on the recent developments. So originally I thought actually really that we had our ABC, so 1 and then ABC finished here, and now that we were already in the progress of the next impulsive wave up, turns out that's not the case, and I think that's the most accurate pattern right now. Now, NVIDIA we already covered in the beginning of the stream, so as mentioned, I think the case here changed, and now we're actually looking at this pattern here. Obviously, in this wave 3, we probably use Kennedy channeling technique here now. So we add this, and we have the breakout, which confirms the wave 3, and we have the how do we do that? We take 0.1, 0.3. Always have to think for a second when we're doing it overheads in the other direction. And basically, as long as we get new lows, we move that point and make sure it stays parallel through that point 2. And the moment we have a breakout to the top, or at least touch that channel and or the median channel here, we would assume that wave 4 is in progress, or actually the moment we break out here to the top, wave 4 would be in progress. And then from there, we would expect wave 5, and that would then be the entry point potentially for buying puts. So right now, we're not going to try to jump into the rally here. Just doesn't seem to make any sense, in my opinion, to try to now jump onto the train. Just a second. So it says 43. Because of -5 now. So how do we get 47? It's 42. Yeah, just a second, checking something on the other screen. Okay. And yeah, so here we're gonna wait now. SPY, it's gonna be, yeah, like same thing. We also had the assumption, again, I still pointed out during the last episodes as well, that there's still the possibility for something like this. It's tricky to see 5 waves down here, to be honest. It looks like ABC. It also turns around at the right levels, but we'll have to probably have something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So hard to label. I mean, there's also the theoretical option that we just are looking at a big ABC. So, and the third profit target for that would be the area where we are right now. but I also believe it might be the beginning of a way bigger correction, and that we're actually looking at wave 1 and up, and that we're currently in wave 3 progress, so still should drop. So I think the big question will be, if we turn around from here, it might still be ABC, and we would get potential long entries still somewhere here with relatively high confidence that will go up. If we break through here, which I think is more likely, then the next turnaround point would be here, the area around 495, 500. From the looks of it, still both is possible, which is frustrating, but it is the way it is. Yeah, then now the NASDAQ just doesn't load for us, which is a pity. Oh, I can, no, I cannot, while it's loading, I cannot clear the local data. So not much we can do here. Okay. And yeah, for the rest, I mean, in pretty much all stocks, so in immersion, we had the question, okay, did we already finish wave 5 here or wave 3 here? Last time I thought no, but I pointed out so that it's possible that this is wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that we should go here, especially because we went that close here. It's still possible that that actually is the orthodox end of the pattern here, which makes it a little bit tricky because it changes how we would label this. If we say it starts from here, it would be A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it starts from here, it would definitely be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 down. But or it could also be A, B, C. So far, if we're only correcting that third wave, a turnaround here around the $10 mark would be okay, but also around the 9.19 would still be okay. So we're gonna just wait and sit that one, or hold and wait that one out. In costs, we had the same situation, that we actually had our A, B, or the assumption it could be A, B, C done, and we're done. Or like the order labeling suggested, that wave C is still to come. We're now at the first profit target, NT61.8 retracement level, and so far bounced from here. But from the sub-labeling, it's more likely that we get 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another push down, so that we really will end up somewhere here. And after that, we will then have a journey upwards again. So then known is currently still relatively stable or not. So we were looking at a weekly chart here. So yeah, and we're still fine in the area where we wanted to be. Barnes & Noble Educational, yeah, not much movement. So I mean, obviously also a drop, but it already recovered some of it. And as long as we don't fall lower than where we were here, it's at 6 something. I think we're good. CrowdStrike is actually recovering a little bit, which is funny. Yeah. So, but their journey is definitely not over. I think that might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. Maybe it's A, B, C already, but I think the journey down is not finished yet. But Faraday futures, yeah, declined a little bit. Still both possible. This could be the correction done, and this is now 1, 2, and we go up from here. Could be this is wave A, this will be A, B, C, and we go down further. So still multiple options here. The crucial point would be at the 18-cent mark. GameStop, yeah, I mean, we already covered it, so nothing to do here. Immersion, now we already covered. Cost we covered. Nvidia we covered. So obviously we have a huge rebound of people that think they are now buying the discount, yeah. Or not huge rebound, but still like some rebounds. SunPower, yeah, there still remains to be seen if this will be one, A, B, C, and now wave 3, or if that will be A, B, C, and we go further down, or if that is already the A, B, C, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so for further down. And SPY we already covered. Tesla, yeah. Actually expected that Tesla will be further down. So, but right now on the monthly pattern, we see that we likely are in this ABC pattern. So all of that bounce here might already, yeah, it's like Tesla is tricky right now to analyze here. Yeah, UBS So they finally are, I mean, we already traded them back here. No, where was it? So I think that pattern is what we traded on that one. I don't remember exactly, but we traded some options there. Now they are falling off the cliff here. Yeah, with a 20% drop. Actually already on Friday. Yeah, I didn't notice that, but so it's like in quotes a good sign potentially for GameStop, because they could still hold a huge GameStop short position that they may or may not be forced to liquidate. So, and yeah, that's actually it. I mean, markets are red, and that sucks. And to be fair, I'm mostly frustrated a little bit. I mean, on one hand, I'm happy that I made the switch from trading with leverage on eToro, and because obviously with a 20 times leverage, the losses when you are wrong are much bigger than the risk that you have when you buy or sell right an option. So depending on which option, of course, yeah. And on the other hand, like if I think them back, like of my analysis from a couple months ago, that was about, okay, the Nasdaq will top out in that area and we will get a big correction. And now seeing that it's actually down almost 4,000 points total in the last couple of weeks. And then, you know, like if I would have, could have, blah, 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 but it doesn't change a thing. I think there will still be great opportunities to trade. Personally, I mean, again, that's not financial advice. That's just my opinion. I think we're in for rough times ahead in the markets. So I believe that everybody that is like, yeah, I'm just going to buy and hold and I'm going to dollar cost average is going to be in a couple of years very surprised how bad that works out for them. I may be wrong, yeah, but it anyway doesn't, in quotes, doesn't apply to me in that case because, yeah, like we are avoiding or trying to avoid to hold shares in many cases, and many of the positions that we have are so small that even a 50% drop is really of no consequence. And even if it takes 20 years for the markets to recover, it would be of no consequence. But anyway, I think we're going to call it quits here today. So since there are no questions in the chat, I'm sure a lot of people the last couple of days had like bad trading days. Don't forget, like whatever money you lose, you can always make back at some point. Even if not with trading, you can make it back with your job or a good business idea or something. It's just money. What's more important than money is like the people you surround yourself with, that you have like somebody that cares about you and that you care about. So I think that's way more important. So even if you took a huge hit the last couple of days and especially now over the weekend, yeah, no reason to be too sad about it. Long term, it should not matter. Yeah, just always keep in mind, don't risk money that you cannot afford to lose, and then you should be good. And yeah, with that, I wish everyone a great rest of the trading week, and potentially that you have the required patience, or that you manage to recover whatever you potentially might have in pending losses. And with that, we're going to see each other then tomorrow again. Don't forget, as always, like, subscribe, enable notifications so you don't miss out on the streams. And